Hello and welcome. This is Rasheem with the Counter Narrative. Tonight's episode is My Black is Beautiful Part 2. Today I am joined by Vicky J. I like to call her the makeup vlogger extraordinaire. and
That is a
Stephanie,
very strong title.
and Stephanie Fan, makeup enthusiast. And as she might also say, makeup junkie and
Yeah.
makeup product junkie. Tonight, we're just going to explore beauty. If you are watching right now and you are watching live, feel free to go ahead and tweet, share it on Facebook, any of your other social media outlets. And let's just dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Vicki. The first thing that I want to ask you, basically, one, tell us what is your full name, your background, and tell us something that you're passionate about.
My name is Victoria James Dixon. My background, ethnic background, or do you
No.
mean like, okay. I am I have a bachelor's in graphic design, but I pretty much got that so that I could do a lot of my own branding and graphic design for my blogger platform. I'm a makeup blogger and vlogger on YouTube and, of course, on VickyJ.com. And I am very much what I call a high-end makeup snob. I like my YSL. I like my Becca. I like my, you know, Givenchy and all of that. So, but I also enjoy a good e.l.f. blush. From time to time. And I write about all of those things. I'm also a beauty editor for Lisa a la Mode. So I just recently started contributing to her blog as well. And I also am a social justice warrior. I don't mind mixing the two worlds because I and myself am intersectional. And so I co-host the Woke Squad with two of my very good friends. And it's a conscious conversation with a bit of comedy thrown in for good measure because we need balance in our lives, self-care and all that. And that's pretty much how I do. That's what I'm about.
Awesome. Thank you. And Stephanie Span, our makeup enthusiast.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So, yes, Stephanie Span, that's my name. And my background, I work in corporate America in a technical capacity, measuring information security risk for different companies. So making sure that when you go to your bank or you get a 401k, we have your information and that, it's protected and no one can hack and steal your social security number and get all your details about how much money you have, stashed away. So I'm kind of a background in data and finance and things like that. However, I am a makeup enthusiast, makeup junkie. Um, uh, I just like all things beauty. I've been doing my own hair since I was 8 because my mom did not know how to do hair. And been doing my own makeup. I mean, I just dibbled and dabbled and practiced, and then discovered YouTube like in 2007. And then, just feel the passion and interest in makeup and beauty, and now I'm here.
Awesome sauce. And thank you for
You're
joining us. Of
welcome.
course, you guys probably already know I am S. Rashim, the host of The Counter Narrative. Now, let's go ahead and get into talking about beauty. I'll bounce back to you, Vicky J. Why, you spend a lot of time on beauty, around beauty. You mentioned how you're intersectional, so you mix it with your social justice self. And, sometimes people feel like maybe they have to be so serious. So, you don't, why is makeup important? Why is that an important part of your life? Why is beauty important, I should say?
Well, beauty is important to me because I feel like it allows me personally to feel like I can present my ideas and my thoughts coupled with what I already know the world considers palatable, right? Like, because as somebody who, is kind of like a social media personality and somebody who, throughout my life, I dealt with like the arts and create things that are creative. I understand that most people are stimulated by the visual. And I just accept that that is something that I can use to my advantage to get my message out. Now, in addition to that, I just enjoy it. You know, it's another way for me to be creative. And I have often, I don't know if this is just part of my personality or what, but I like pretty things. I like shiny things. And I like, as a girl, I like to feel as good as I like to look on the outside the way I feel on the inside. And I feel like it really does kind of uplift your confidence and your energy to look as good as you feel. It really like puts an extra pep in your step. And that's just I just feel like it's a really positive tool. And it's something that's very relaxing to me as well, to sit there for an hour or an hour and a half and just take my time doing my makeup. It's very therapeutic.
Mhm. I love what you said about the point that you mentioned about presenting something that's visually pleasing and palatable, especially when it comes to things like social media or just getting your message across. Sometimes, even though we say things like don't judge a book by its cover, sometimes people might take a little extra time to look at you, to pay attention to what you have to say. So those are some areas I feel like externally where beauty can be important, and it's also part of the arts. And then there's also that internal feeling. And then another thing I heard you mention is like it's really part of self-care, like self-relaxation. I am adorning myself. I am decorating myself. I am enhancing myself. It is like an act of loving yourself in the process. Not to mention, like, who doesn't love to color? Hello.
Right. When I first started my YouTube channel, as a matter of fact, one of the things that I wanted, my blog as well, my YouTube and my blog, I wanted women, especially women of color, because when I talk about makeup, I talk about it from the perspective of a woman of color. So obviously, my core audience is going to relate to that. I wanted women to really kind of force themselves to take a minute for themselves. So many of us are self-sacrificing. And when we get away from that, it is a very deceptive decline into neglect that becomes internalized. You start to kind of resent, in a way, the decisions that you've made, but you can't outwardly say so. And you have to, it's like internal conflict of I've created this life for myself. I have to deal with it as it is. But then you're also like, why don't people appreciate me, or why don't people take time for XYZ? And it's because you've allowed it. And I hate to get all philosophical here, but if you just said, if you force those people in your life to give you your space for yourself, and then take that time to care for yourself, it will then push out that energy that you want, even for myself, I had suffered from depression and had gained had gone over 400 pounds. I was so depressed that I had gained all this weight, and it started to that's when I developed an anxiety disorder. And I turned all that around because of my own, myself. I said, why is this happening? I can't blame anybody else. This is me. And then once that shift happened, where I started to take care of my weight, and then I started to take care of my hair, and then I started to put my makeup on again, and then I started to feel good about myself because I was losing all of this weight. And then I got to a place where I felt like I was back to myself, and I wanted to share it with other people. I wanted other women to get back to themselves. That was the whole motive behind me starting this whole makeup thing. So for me, makeup is more than just painting your face and, looking beat for the gods and all of that. It's a whole lot more than that. And I'm sorry, I'm going to stop rambling now.
No. I mean, I think it's a fantastic point. You hit it right on the nose in terms of it is more than makeup. It is more than color. It is more than blush. Stephanie, I'd like to hear from you. Why is beauty important?
Well, I'm always been a person to be conscious about the way I present in the world. I've always been that way. I just very, I wouldn't say self-conscious, but very particular about the way I dress or my hair, my makeup, things like that. Um, and I was always a DIY type of person. So see if I can do it myself. I probably dyed my hair probably 10 times, but between the time I was 16 till I was 25, all different colors, even stripped the color off, re-dyed it, and started back over. Had weaves, Halle Berry, whatever, all in between haircuts, and so I guess um, it's just like for me, it's kind of like it's been a progression of things. So while I got into the makeup more heavily because of saying, oh, I can learn this technique, or I can do this, oh, this is how they do this. Now transitioning into being a single parent and not having very limited time, I looked forward to that time. It's very ritualistic, and it's the one thing that I don't have to share with anyone. I don't that time. I don't It's all about me during that time. What I want to look like that day. Do I feel like a red lip? Do I feel like a no lip? Do I feel like having a cat eye today? Do I It's just, and however I'm feeling, I can express that. Do I feel like putting on the full face and showing up to work and people are like, "Oh, you look nice," or do I just don't want that attention today and dial it back with a little bit of foundation, lip gloss, and mascara? So it just kind of, I don't know, it's like it's very ritualistic. I'm a person that really likes routines, and I think I've just really fallen into a rhythm with it, and it makes me feel good.
Hmm. I love that because one of the things that I'm getting out of what you're saying is like the creative expression of it, and it's kind
Mhm.
of like opportunity to kind of do some kind of like some level of reinvention in terms of like I get to go outside and express on the outside what I'm feeling on the inside, and then just
Mhm.
the creativity. Like how many times you colored your hair? Like how many
Yeah.
times Black women in general change their hair? Like
Yeah.
it's a way of creative expression
Mhm.
that I think that sometimes people just think of it as something that's very superficial.
Mhm.
Before we get into the next question, I want to say thank you to everyone who is watching right now live. This is the Counter Narrative. I am Rasheem, and I am joined with Stephanie Span and Vicky J. And we are talking about My Black is Beautiful, as well as makeup and all things beauty related. If you have any questions, please do feel free to type them in the chat. I want to give a quick shout out and say hello. I can't see you unless you type something in the chat. So type something in the chat so that we can say hi to you. So, hey Tachi, hey Don John. So appreciate you
Don
being
John is
here.
my co-host on the Work Squad.
Don John. I love it when co-hosts come through to represent me and Stephanie.
Mhm.
Have done the show together, and I still try to on the slide kind of get her to be my co-host on. So that I still do. Co-hosts Having co-hosts are so fun. So if you guys have any questions that you have for our guests, please feel free to type it in the chat. And if you're watching this, you probably have a few friends that are just as interested in you. I'm sorry, just as interested in this as you probably are. Feel free to go to the top and grab the URL, share it on your Facebook page if you have a particular group that's interested in makeup or some girlfriends that you know that might be interested in having a few tips. So now, back to you, Vicky J. This show is titled "My Black is Beautiful." Now, when you hear that, when you hear the words "My Black is Beautiful," what exactly does that mean to you?
For me,
For
it
me, it
means
means
it
it
spans
expands
the diaspora,
diaspora, my
my
Black.
black, my brand of black, my blackness, my melanin, my um, specifics to my culture, my hood, or like it's just so it's such a great general expression of self-love. So that's what it means to me.
Awesome. And you, Stephanie?
I kind of agree with what Vicky said. Kind of, in the diaspora of blackness. You know, It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's beautiful. It's what it is, and I accept myself for what God has given me, or whoever you do or don't believe in. So, I think that a lot of times that, and it also to me says like, okay, to the outsider, don't try to say, you know, well, she's black, but she's pretty because she's light skinned. How there's from the outside, a lot of people kind of, there people that are non-black, they have an idea of what type of black people are beautiful,
Mhm.
like the types of black people that are acceptable. And to kind of counteract that, no, my black is beautiful as well. So internally, culturally, within our own black culture, yeah, it doesn't matter what shade you are, where you come in the spectrum. But then from the outside, it's kind of a statement against, a little bit of the whitewashing of beauty.
Mm. I love that there is so much colorism within the
Mhm.
spectrum of blackness, colorism and hair texture and what is good hair and all of these
Mhm.
things. And I love that, my black is beautiful and your black is beautiful and her black is beautiful and all of these different expressions of that to simultaneously exist as a representation of Black beauty. Speaking of representations of Black beauty, Vicky J, tell me what was the first image, your first representation in your mind that you held as a little girl of what beauty looked like?
Well, aside from my family, because my family is female dominated, um, and they all run the spectrum of Black beauty in terms of features, in terms of skin tone, just the whole gamut of everything that is beautiful about being Black. Outside of my family, I would say pop cultural reference would be Felicia Rashad as Claire Huxtable, The Cosby Show. She was my, like, I remember being 4 years old. Like, one of my first memories, like my actual first memories of my conscious self, was watching The Cosby Show. And just seeing Felicia Rashad, this lawyer and mother and wife, and she was doing it all, but she was also just looking absolutely outstanding. Um, and she was such a she was what Michelle Obama ultimately became for me, which is just this shining example of Black beauty in a way that relates to me today. Um, and it was something that made me feel like we are beautiful. Even at that young age, I never once in my life had a moment of self-hate. And it was mainly due to the fact that I had so many positive examples of amazing Black people, men and women. But, just in relation to me being a woman, having so many positive female Black role models. And Felicia Rashad was definitely one of them. Later in my life, she became somebody I looked up to as an actress. But at that time, she was just a mother figure who embodied all of these things that I would later aspire to: career minded, educated, um, family oriented, and poised. Like, mama she dressed her behind off and she looked amazing all the time. So I was just like, not only is she just awesome on the inside, but it radiates. She's regal and nobody has to put a crown on her for her to be that way.
Yes. Yeah, there was something about Claire Huxtable that was extremely beautiful and attractive in a what seemed like an effortless, I'm just being me sort of way.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but it wasn't uh, in one of the ways that sometimes we see images of people really forcefully wanting to be seen as beautiful. But the type of beauty that she had was like her mind was beautiful
Hmm.
and her love for her family was beautiful and her skin, she just had the full thing. So I could definitely see that as one of those images to gravitate, especially early on, you know.
Yeah. Her love
Um,
was also reciprocated. Her husband loved the heck out of her. And you could see it. Like, obviously, her children loved her, but her husband, the way that they were together as well. And it wasn't always like, and it wasn't, I don't know, no shade to Martin, but it wasn't Martin and Gina kind of loving the way that he, like, kind of lusted after her in a way.
yeah.
It was more of a, like, more of the love that I aspired to. And I feel like I do have in that man behind me.
Oh. And Stephanie, tell us, what was one of the first images of beauty, of first images or representations of beauty that you saw?
In the media, I would say, I guess, I mean, I was an avid watcher of The Cosby Show, and my stepdad actually graduated with Felicia and Debbie Allen. So that was an immediate reference for me, but I was more drawn to other kids in the media. So like Rudy Huxtable, I admired her hair. I love the fact that her hair was big and unapologetic, and it was beautiful and long. And you really didn't see that on TV, a black girl with natural, big, pretty long hair, you
Yeah.
know. And that was well taken care of, and of course she's on a TV show, but being a kid, I'm like, her hair is so beautiful and we're exactly the same age. And wow, like, and reading about them in Jet magazine and reading about her background and things like that, I was immediately drawn to her. And then as I got a little bit older, I liked when Brandy came on the scene because I liked the way she wore her braids. And I used to wear my hair braided a lot because my mom was not good at doing hair. However, I was ashamed of it because a lot of girls didn't really have braids. And
Mm.
to see her popularize it so well, it made me feel less, I feel like, oh, wow, this is cool. Like I've been wearing braids since I was 10 off and on, and I didn't like it, but now like, wow, her hair is really cute and she's wearing really cute styles. Maybe I can show my mom this and I can get my hair braided like this the next time, so it'll be more like Brandy, like, so things like that are, I was drawn to more people that were my peers in the media.
Mhm.
But then, as far as like day to day, as far as like, people I went to school with and like more things that I was exposed to on a like at school, some of the more negative things were that the boys like the girls with the light skin and the long hair. So that was an immediate negative reference for me very early. Um, because it's where I live, there are a lot of people who have like Creole backgrounds and things like that and kind of present as mixed race. So hearing those kinds of things and then hearing my grandmother talk about colorism within my own family, things like that. So it's kind of a juxtaposition of, while, people really do, look at you differently when you have dark skin, trying to reconcile that and then seeing other images in the media of darker skin young girls that I could really look up to or admire from a beauty perspective. So trying to reconcile all that as a kid was kind of where I was.
I love this
Yeah.
combination of Claire Huxtable and then Rudy and then Brandy because we have this aspirational. But one of the
Mhm.
things that you brought up, Stephanie, that I really like is like, when was the first time that you just really kind of said it? When was the first time that you could actually see yourself in a way
Mhm.
represented in beauty, and then they kind of hold a space for you. It's like Brandy with her braids
Mhm.
kind of held a space for you, and
Yeah.
it was a way for you to see you. And it's like, oh yeah, that's me. I wear braids.
Yeah.
Excuse me. When was that for you, Vicky J, or who was that for you? That kind of image of beauty where it was like, I see me in this person.
Oh boy. Um, I don't want to bring her up because I can't stand her these days. But Stacey Dash as Dion in Clueless. I looked up to her in that movie because at the time my best friend was a white girl And they reminded me of me and my friend. She also had braids. I too had braids as a kid. And not exactly micro, but pretty darn close. I loved long braids. I loved dressing up and um, just the way that they were, because I am a bicoastal kid. So I grew up in California as well. So their accents reminded me of myself, because for a long time living on the East Coast, I was shunned for my accent as a Black girl. They used to tell me I talked like a white girl because I had the Valley girl accent pretty heavy at the time. And so they used to get on me about that. So when Dion popped on the scene in Clueless, so many of those things about her reminded me of myself. Now, obviously, Stacey Dash is an actress. I don't like Stacey Dash. I like Dion. I like the character that she played in the movie. Because I didn't know anything about her in 1995. But that character was probably one of the first characters where I felt like I could relate. And while she wasn't exactly my peer because I was still very young, and she was playing a teenager, my friends, often, most of my life, my friends have been older than me because I went to school a little bit earlier. And all the people, thanks, Don, and all the people who I associated with were older than me. So that's why I was kind of related to her in that way.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So I want to jump back to the people who are watching. Valley Girl still shows up, Don John says. Woohoo, Howard. Oh, did Stacey Dash go to Howard? Did Stacey Dash go to Howard? Tashi said, woohoo, Howard.
I don't know. Maybe that was a reference to did Felicia Rashad go to Howard?
She did.
Oh,
okay.
Okay,
That's what that's
okay,
from.
so that's what that is. HBCUs represent. Yeah, so I want to get back to our audience and I want you guys to type in for us. Let us know what were some of the images of beauty that one of the first images of beauty that you saw. Just type in a name. And I'm talking about, you could tell me it was my mama, it was my sister, it was my cousin. But I also want to know a reference that everyone can picture. So if you could also find someone in the media and just tell us what was one of your first references for what beauty was and what beauty looked like and felt like. So right before we get into the juicy stuff about beauty enhancements and makeup and everything, I want to ask you guys, and whoever wants to take this first can, what are some things that make you feel beautiful? Or can you remember the first time that you felt beautiful?
You know what? The first time I felt beautiful was probably maybe the 10th grade. The 10th grade, I had one of the worst years of my life previously. A lot of stuff happened that freshman year, but in my 10th grade year, one of the my first high school boyfriend, who broke up with me on Christmas Eve, wrote me a letter in the 10th grade because we were going to be in class together this time, and he didn't want any tension between us. So he wrote me a letter about why he broke up with me. And, I'm not going to say who he is, but he knows who he is. He came out to me and explained that he was gay, and that's why he broke up with me, because he didn't want to lead me on and he wanted to be honest with himself, and etc. Now, the part that made me feel beautiful was after we became friends again, after, I forgave him for what happened and we moved forward, our friendship really blossomed. And one day he said to me, when we were about to enter the summer before we went to our junior year, he said, "You know what, Victoria, I really love you. I love you so much." And I was like, "I love you too, man." I'm thinking he's just, joking around kind of with me. And he said, "You know what? Like, when I think about who I would like to be with for the rest of my life, it would be you or someone like you. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you just told me that you like men. So why are you saying why are you saying that you would like to be with me one day, or whatever. And I'm like, whatever, man, shut up. And he's like, no, seriously, like you, like your soul, you're a
Oh.
really beautiful person.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very touching to me. Like, I couldn't believe that we were sitting in class in the 10th grade, and this person who I've shared a lot with emotionally, and we have been through a lot emotionally, and just, your growing pains, and my personal life and his personal life. Because I mean, being um being of any ethnicity really, but a brown one and coming out, it's like got to be really hard. And then you add on to that puberty and all of that, and it can be really overwhelming. And we got through our growing pains together. So I think that's what really kind of made me feel beautiful, was that this person showed me a different type of love and put a mirror back on me in terms of how I handled it and how I made him feel comfortable with himself. And that was something that I always carried with me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Awesome. And you, Stephanie, what was the first time you remember feeling beautiful?
Um, I don't know. I would say that it's kind of ebb and flow for me. Um, we have times where we're like, "Ugh, I don't feel cute today." Like, oh, my hair is not doing what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if we're just talking about externally, like external beauty. There are some, I guess, defining moments, I would say, in my life where I felt like, okay, I am kind of cute, like, it's like, oh, well, you get complimented, or you get people say something nice to you that's kind of surprising, or so, there's times I remember in the 8th grade, I don't know, I was starting to get more attention from boys, and that kind of caught my attention. And then, there's times where, I may have just looked in the mirror and thought, you know what, I look pretty damn good, it's just self-reflection. And then, my son, like, he's very complimentary. Like I taken a shower earlier today and put on some lotion and stuff, and he'll just come in and say, "Mom, you smell good," or he'll say, "Mom, you look nice." Like, and I don't like. It's very like, "Oh, thank you." Like, it's very sweet. So, because I know he means it. He has no motives other than to get time on the iPad. Um, So
Right.
for me, it's just an up and down, and just part of being a woman. We have our good days, we have our good years, we have our bad years, especially being pregnant, going through childbirth, that can really like do a lot to your body. And um, you know, trying to get back to being yourself after having a baby is hard. So there's ups and downs. But I think overall, where I find more like internal beauty is correlated to the strength that I've found in some of dealing with some of the situations. And being able to stay calm, not be vindictive, not, you know, being the being the nicer person in certain situations, being the bigger person. I think that's part of having kind of that a nicer, more beautiful spirit. Um, so that's how I kind of look at it. I kind of divide it externally and internally.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
No, beautiful. So if you are just tuning in, this is the Counter Narrative. I am Rasheem, and I'm joined with Stephanie Span as well as Vicky J. And tonight's topic is My Black is Beautiful. So far, we have covered why is beauty important. What does it mean to say that my black is beautiful? First, what was your first image of beauty? What was the first time you saw an image of beauty that kind of looked like you? And right now, we're about to dive into the fun stuff. So I'm going to start off with you, Vicky J. Let's start off with the really, really good stuff. What are your top three must-have beauty products and why? You can only pick three. It's only space for three. Top three
Okay,
must-have.
I can do this.
Why?
My top three must-haves are Veil Mineral Primer by Hourglass. It's my holy grail primer. It always makes every other foundation, no matter what the foundation is, glide on perfectly. So that's definitely my number one. Number two would be lashes, because even if you don't have eyeshadow, if you have lashes, you don't even need liner if you have a good lash. So lashes would definitely be number two. And then number three would be a lip gloss, because
Hmm.
again, if you have the right formula, it can double as just a regular old moisturizer, also have a little color up in there so that you can just, have a little something popping off. I think that having those three things, and then it doesn't matter what the other ones are,
Hmm.
you know,
I
Mm-hmm.
like
mix
those.
and match.
Definitely having something that helps your foundation go on smooth is definitely a big one. I love the whole concept of lashes, just because lashes, like, you cannot not feel like a girl with lashes. That's what I like about lashes. It's like, yes, I am so girl. Like, I am,
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
have lashes. And lip gloss is something that is like, it's a good go-to. It's good for any situation, whether you add in color to it or not. It's like, I am not going to be out here crusty in these streets. I
Exactly.
will, I will minimally have my lips popping. Before I go to Stephanie, I want to ask everyone in watching live, go ahead and type down below, what are your top three must-have go-to products and why? Stephanie, you, top three products.
Does this include skincare or just makeup?
Whatever your top three products are, any across
Okay.
whatever.
Okay, so for me, I guess things that I can't live without. I would say makeup wipes. It could even be baby wipes, but you got to take that. I just like it's a ritual. I come home, I go straight to the makeup wipes. Like I got to take this off, wash
Mm.
my face off. Like key. That's this major key,
Keep
as
it clean,
DJ
right?
Khaled would say. And then I'm really into exfoliation.
Mm.
So whether, and I would say just find out whether your skin prefers manual exfoliation or chemical exfoliation. My skin really likes chemical exfoliation. So I use the Pixie Glow Tonic, and it's 5% glycolic acid, but it's non-irritating because it has like aloe in it. So if
Mm.
you're new to like chemical peels and things like that, it's a really good one to try. And it's one of the few things that I've bought skincare wise over the counter that I can say works. Because I
Mm.
have very like sensitive skin and I tend to go to the dermatologist more. But if your skin is a little dry because of the winter, you want to just kind of freshen it up. You can use it day and night. It's $15 at Target, and
That's not bad at all.
it's Pixie. And if you follow some of the top skincare specialists on YouTube, they recommend it. So I would say an exfoliant of your choice. I can give you some other recommendations if you want to be fancy, which I've tried this as well, and it works very well. It has lactic acid in it. If you could get, it's called Biologique Recherche, and it's called. They have a different. They're called toners, but they're really exfoliants, and it comes in a bottle. It's basically really fancy French skincare, but the ingredients really work. Now it stinks to high hell. It smells like fish and chips. But
Mm.
Mm.
when I tell you, your skin will be baby soft in the morning. So like Carolyn Hirons, like she's like a really famous esthetician. She ranks that along with the Pixie Glow Tonic, which you can get for $15, and Biologique Recherche is like $80. So in the spectrum of drugstore versus expensive, I've given like those two of the best options, and I've used both, and both of them are very effective. And then for me, like a good foundation, color matched correctly. the right undertone.
Amen.
When you have that, and some girls aren't foundation girls, I get that. You might not need it. You may feel like your skin's pretty good. I get that. But if you, for me, and a lot of other women that are over 35, I go to a corporate job every day. You want to put on a little something so you look kind of put together. Just make sure it's not lighter than your neck. Make sure it's not darker than your neck. Make sure it's not too orange, not too yellow. Go get professionally color matched. Sephora even has those little things that if you figure out what foundation you are in one, you can put key it in and it'll tell you what foundation you are in all of the foundations that they carry.
Hmm.
So, and then they have a machine that can color match, do a custom color match on you. So, those are the things that I recommend, and I think those are kind of like basics for either good skincare and to start with if you want to get into makeup, starting with that foundation and make a nice, pretty base.
Hmm.
Also, to add to your point, you can get that score emailed to you, your skin match
Yeah. Mhm.
emailed to you, so that you don't forget it.
Mhm.
Save it to your phone, bring it with you when you go to Sephora, because Lord knows I've been matched about 16, 17 times. Get one twice a year.
Yeah. Because people change, winter time. Your winter color might be different from your summer color, and you know, you want to have at least two references and say, I can do this one in the winter, go down a shade in the summer. So yeah, but those are my three. I
Hmm.
mean, I could give you more, but I don't want this to be too long.
No, we're going to get more, but we're going to start with the top three. You took me
Yeah.
back to Viola Davis, How to Get Away with Murder,
Hmm.
when you talk about the wipes
Yeah.
come home. I
When she
just
came
totally
home, take off
had,
the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel so good when I take that makeup off. It's such a relief. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I could definitely see how that would be. And one for me too, I am a little bit, I don't want to say that I'm lazy. I don't like washing. I don't like scrubbing. First of all, I don't like touching my face. I don't like anybody touching my face. Um, so, and I also don't like rags on my face. It just hurts.
Hmm.
So wipes for me, I love the wipes. I love them also because if I'm in the bed and I'm just there's been times where I've gone out dancing to the club or whatever, wherever I go dancing. And I've, you have your face beat when you go, when you're going out. And then you come home and like, you're not trying to go through no whole, but
Your
it's
whole
just like,
20-minute night routine.
you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
get the wipe, you just like, whatever, it'll
Hmm.
hit wherever it hits. And of course, a good foundation that match. My skin color, I feel like I probably wouldn't be as much of a foundation girl if my skin color was on my face was the same in every place. Right. The only reason why it looks like halfway decent right now is because I have the foundation to kind of blend it, even though it doesn't look like people tell me all the time, it doesn't look like you have on makeup. And a lot of times I do that purposely because I don't necessarily want to look like I have on makeup. But if I don't, you will know. You will know because my skin color isn't the same. There's this raccoon
Most
eye.
people aren't.
Most of us, yeah,
Yeah, most
exactly. Most
people
of us have
aren't.
uneven skin.
Most black women are lighter in the center, darker on the perimeter, and we have some hyperpigmentation issues, especially
Yeah,
Hmm.
if you've had acne before or anything like
yeah.
that. It is what it is.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So let's jump back to you, Vicky. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see some people making with their makeup?
I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see out there are apostrophe eyebrows.
Apostrophe. Oh, what does that look like?
It looks like it's kind of like rounded, right? You know how an apostrophe, like a fancy one in Times New
Oh, it's
Roman,
like
it's like got that ball on the end, and then it just kind of gets thin and just curves.
I see those and I
Those
see
drive.
those squared too.
Yeah, eyebrows frame your face. If you don't do anything else, like seriously, if you don't do anything else, your eyebrows can make you look more put together. And so that's one of the things that's always like instantly distracting to me is when somebody has like awkwardly shaped eyebrows. It's not a shape, I guess, that is flattering. That's what I would say.
Mhm.
If your hair grows that way, you know, my hair doesn't grow, my brows don't grow perfectly, even most people's don't. Um, but I think that like finding a shape that's right for your face
Mhm.
that really kind of enhances all the rest of your features can go a long way in making you feel beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, it, well, how many mistakes am I getting?
Give me three. I want to say something
Okay.
about that one. I love what you said about finding a shape that fits for you because I think sometimes we'll see an eyebrow shape on someone else and we're like, oh, I want my eyes to look like that, and maybe it looks good on them.
Hmm.
Another thing that I've seen as it relates to the eyes is I see really strong halo eyes on some
Hmm.
people, where it's like, oh, lots of light radiating from the eyebrow.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that that probably works in certain circumstances. So I think the thing is maybe that apostrophe eyebrow might work for somebody, or the halo eyebrow might work for somebody. But make check and see what works for you. But go ahead and tell us, what are the other two mistakes that you see people making with makeup?
I think as we've already mentioned, undertone match is another big mistake. When you don't when you don't put your makeup on in good lighting, it can often throw off the way that you perceive the
Mm,
foundation. Which is why getting color matched is so important. Getting color matched twice a year is so important because even myself, I have been guilty of having an off day in terms of undertone. I do my best to counteract that by I have two powders for darkening my makeup, and then I have two colors for highlight. I have samples as well. Anytime I go into Sephora, I get my samples. And I'll go into multiple Sephoras a day just to get, you know, because sometimes they want to limit you to 3 samples. So I'll just go into multiple places and get some samples so that I can have them on hand for when I need to mix. Um, yeah, so that's a big one for me. Understanding your undertones.
and what's the third one? Give us one more.
The third one is lining your lips for nude lips without blending.
People still do
Yeah,
that?
drives me
Okay.
nuts.
All right. Stephanie, you top three mistakes you see people making with their makeup.
I see a lot of mistakes with eyebrows. I see a lot. I see people, and I also see people who, with a full face of foundation and makeup, and then they don't attempt to fill in their eyebrows, which is very odd to me. Which I probably, and I ended up giving my friend a complex about that because I was like, girl, I can't stand when people come to work with a full foundation and they don't take the time to fill in their eyebrows. And I think she was doing that. And she's like, you made me feel bad. She's like, she's like, I'll be like, oh Lord, let me put my eyebrows on. I don't want my friend to talk about me. I didn't know she was doing
Oh
that.
my gosh.
You take the time to put on foundation. You should fill in your eyebrows. It just looks weird to me. You look unfinished.
Yeah,
Just
it
very
does look
strange. Unless you just have some real dark bushy eyebrows, but she doesn't. So anyway, so eyebrows, I see them too close together. I see them too much concealer around them to give the halo look. I mean, too dark. It's just a mess. The wrong color foundation, undertone, whatever, whatnot. And then um, I would say like more in the YouTube realm, I see like too much highlight. Like
Hmm.
nobody needs that much highlight, like on a day-to-day basis.
like the
What
100 layer highlight.
Right.
what
This
does
is
that
your
mean
this
though?
is your this your everyday look and you wearing that much highlighter. So like you have your blush, but then you have the highlight color which reflects light on the high points of your face.
Got it.
So it's basically a technique to contour your face to draw light to the parts that you want to draw light to, like a model would catch the light on their cheekbones. They would know how to turn their face and model and catch that light. So yeah, some people overdo it with the highlighter and the contouring and all that stuff. But the eyebrows is what's most troubling to me. Um,
It
it's
also seems to be the one that people have the most difficulty with.
right, and I think that sometimes I'll see on YouTube, and there's a very famous set of girls on YouTube, and their eyebrows drive me insane. They drive me insane. Why? Because when you do your eyebrows, you need to line them up here, right, with this part of your nose. So they start the eyebrow out here somewhere, and it just kind of, every time I see it, it's just like a train wreck to me. And I'm like, you have 500,000 subscribers. Nobody told you to draw your eyebrows just a little bit closer together because you look crazy.
Yeah.
You look very
The
crazy.
rule of thumb is to align the end where
Mhm.
your brow begins is where your tear duct
Right,
is.
right.
And
Usually
the arch is
right
just
here.
slightly off from your pupil, and then the
Mhm.
end of your brow goes diagonal from
They,
the end of your tear duct over
and
here.
there are even stencils that show you exactly how to do it. Because when I first started doing eyebrows, I used a stencil because I didn't know how to do it. Once I kind of learned the stencil, then you freehand. But there's stencils. Like you can just literally lay it on there and fill it in, foolproof.
You can get these suckers on Wish.com for a whole $1.
They got them, and you can go to Walgreens, wherever, and get them. Like if, it's like it's not that hard. Even if you want to go high end, Benefit has stencils.
Hmm.
They're they're they're
Anastasia.
they're very good with the eyebrow thing. So
Hmm.
if there's ways to learn. I mean, and just like no, no, no.
We're here to
So
help.
anyway, that's my rant about eyebrows.
No, love it.
And then couple the bad eyebrows with a bad lace front, then you got a real problem.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you, I saw a lace front, no lie. Like I know people have hairlines that start all different places. I felt like the lace front baby hair was like right, like it was like had to be no more than 1 inch from her eyebrows
Lord
where
Oh
the
my.
bless
lace
her.
front started. And I think that I don't know if that's just part of the whole exploration of let me figure out how to do
Right,
this.
right.
And but I think one of the things that I appreciate that you said, Vicky J, when you were said like we're here to help.
Mhm.
Um because if a person gave me a lace front wig, since I haven't owned a comb in I don't know how many years, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I don't even know exactly where it's supposed to start. I just knew it wasn't supposed to start right here
Because
because
Right.
that's common sense though.
Your
because you
baby
need
hair
to
should
have
not be keeping
more
your eyebrows.
you need to have more forehead than just this right here.
That's
Like
common sense.
Hmm.
so, I mean, she could have been an extremely hairy person.
I've
Who
only ever
knows?
seen one person in mainstream television that has a very short forehead, and that was Teresa Giudice or Giudice on
Oh my God,
The
she does.
Housewives of New
Oh,
Jersey. She
she
was very
does. And she
short
has super thick
forehead.
eyebrows too.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
she threads her hairline to bring it back a little.
That's
I
threaded.
think
That's got to be
I think
painful.
I heard her say that before.
Wow.
I can believe that. So my next question that I have for you is going to go to you, Vicky. Vicky J. Which one do you prefer, Vicky J or Victoria James?
Vicky J is cool.
Vicky J. Vicky J. I feel like you're a DJ. Vicky J. Um, what is your beauty secret weapon?
My
The
beauty
secret weapon.
secret weapon. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna take this to the hair. My beauty secret weapon is edge control.
Huh?
Because when I gave up on like eco styler and all of that, I was like, how am I gonna lay my edges? And one thing I really like about edge control is not only do you get the control, because I wear it when my hair was longer and I would wear the bun, that's what I used to lay my edges. I did not use gel. And they're they're not all created equal, but the one that is my goat I got it too. I got it right here. Is from Cream of Nature.
She
Cream.
know
And
what she's talking about because that's the one I like.
it's bomb, isn't it bomb?
and I went and got the one with the extra hole, girl. It really lay your edges down.
It's
Ooh,
so, but it also keeps your hair conditioned.
it's
Like
not flaky. Mm-mm.
exactly. But it's not, you know which one is like super hard and makes like creates a lot of buildup? The one from ORS.
It does.
I love their deep conditioner. I do not care for the edge control. Cantu makes a very comparable one when you're in a pinch. If you know they have one and not the other, I'll mess with some Cantu. But honestly, this is the one that that I need. I have to have it at all times. So yeah, this is my secret
Okay.
weapon. I even use it with my TWA,
What's
teeny
TWA?
weeny afro. Teeny weeny afro.
Aw. That's cute. I love your hair. It's very pretty.
Thank you.
Stephanie, what's your secret weapon?
Uh, well, I do like that same edge control, but I had to lay off the edge control a little bit. It's a little bit too strong for my hair. Um, but I still use it occasionally, and it works. It's very effective. But I normally like to keep my makeup on. I like the finishing sprays, but the one that I like is the Urban Decay D Slick. So they have Urban Decay All Nighter, which I've tried, and you put your makeup on. You're supposed to spray it on. It helps it stay on. I don't find that one to be very effective, but the Urban Decay D Slick, I find it to be very effective. Like my makeup does not move at all. And one of the techniques I learned is that instead of spraying it once on your face when you finish your makeup, I spray it on my face first before I apply my makeup.
Hmm. So you
Then
kind
I apply it, and then I spray one more time when I finish. And when I tell you it lasts 8 hours, 8, 9 hours, like I have no problems.
of, hmm.
So yeah, that's
She ain't never lied.
Urban
She ain't
Decay
never lied.
D Slick. Mhm.
Yep,
Mhm.
that's
Okay.
what I'm wearing right now.
It'll get you all the way together. You'll be good.
Yeah.
Get you all the way there, you be good.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
when I
let's
you can couple that with a good like a 24-hour foundation like Kat Von D, and
Uh
I mean you could just go a whole weekend, just don't sleep.
huh. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm like, 'cause I come home and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, my foundation don't look like oatmeal today. I did good.
oh sure.
So,
All right, Vicky J, tell us what are your okay, as my earring flies away. What are your top two favorite self-care regimen? Because we know beauty isn't just about how you look. A lot of beauty is about how you feel and it's about self-care. So what are your top two favorite self-care regimen?
Um, my number one is meditation.
Mm,
I'm I have the Deepak Chopra app, and I just do a quick 10-minute meditation on the way to work or um, hide in the bathroom or like anywhere where I can fit it in. And for me, it just really helps me go of the things that I need to let go of and be ready for everything else. And especially since I suffer from anxiety, it's something that's really important to me to meditate because in this world that we live in right now, there's so many things that bombarding you every day, so much for you to internalize, and it
right.
can be very toxic. And so keeping yourself centered is very important. The second thing for self-care, I would say, um, this is going to sound so weird, but I really truly believe that this is so important. Regular bowel movements. And this is because, and I know it sounds weird, but just bear with me here. Because just like meditation helps you let go of toxic things, so do regular bowel movements. And the
Yeah.
way that I do that is through my diet. That's another way of practicing self-care. Got to get my greens in. I got to make sure my tea, I have my tea. I have to have fiber. in some way throughout the day. And I need at least 2 movements a day so that my body feels light, so that I'm not holding on to things that will eventually make me sick. And just, trying to maintain balance both internally and externally. I'm just, keeping it real with you guys.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what do you do to get you go twice a day?
In the morning, I just automatically go.
Okay.
So that's one. And then by the end of the day, I will have gone to the bathroom again. So that's two.
Okay. All right, you, Stephanie. Top two self-care regimen. Mm.
Let's see. I'm a big shower person. Like I do some of my best thinking in the shower. I like baths. And I like to take care of my feet in the shower. So scrubbing my feet, I like pedicures a lot, like that kind of stuff. So somewhere between pedicures and taking bubble baths and stuff, I'm really into that. And then
Mm-hmm.
I would say taking care of doing like proper skincare for me is like um self-care because I feel like we do a lot of, I like to wear makeup, but I need to take care of my skin. So whether that's like trying to drink more water or exfoliating or seeing a dermatologist if I need to, um, I probably spend more money on skincare than anything else. So I think those are the two main things: taking care of the skin that I have, and also doing some relaxing things. Sometimes and just one other thing, sometimes I find it hard to fall asleep. So I do watch like the ASMR videos that kind of are very relaxing to watch on YouTube that can put you to sleep. And I find it to be kind of a form of meditation. It's very relaxing to watch. So if you ever can't sleep, just look up ASMR on YouTube, and you'll find videos that people watch that make them sleepy or put them in a relaxed state.
Is it
Um,
something that's kind of like meditative, or
it
how does
can
it kind of?
be. There's all types. So there's some people like to hear people talking. Some people like to watch other people get massages. And it kind of relaxes you because you kind of put your mind frame of the person that's on the table, getting the massage. Or some people, they do role playing where someone's brushing someone's hair. A lot of them are around washing hair, shampooing hair, because that feels
Mm,
very good.
yeah.
When you get your hair washed by somebody, I mean, that, especially if you don't go to the hair salon a lot, man, that will put you in a trance. And
Yeah.
a lot of those are some of the first videos I started watching when I was pregnant, and because I couldn't sleep at night, and I just stumbled into it. But there's a lot of content out there. There's a guy, they call him Baba. He does massages in India. He's really a barber. But in India, when you go get it, there's a whole barber culture in India where you get to shave, you get massaged all over your head, and you get
Mm,
a shoulder massage. And he's like a famous YouTube person. So somebody traveled to his massage parlor and barber studio and videotaped them getting this massage. And it's very relaxing for people to watch. Now he's like internet famous because people travel there to see him,
mhm.
and tape it and put it on YouTube and things like that. So, but that's something you can try if you can't sleep. Um,
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. So we have talked about everything from our origin stories around beauty to beauty on the inside, beauty on the outside, a little bit of products and tips
Mhm.
and self care.
Mhm.
And this has been the counter narrative. This episode has been called My Black is Beautiful, Part Two. And I am joined with Vicky J and Stephanie Span. In closing, before I let you go, okay. I want to give them an opportunity to let you know how to get in contact with them. Like J said, she's here for you. So if you want to catch her on her YouTube channel, she's going to let you know how to keep in contact with her. If you want to be her friend for real or for play, she's going to let you know how to Facebook her. And same thing with Stephanie. I'm going to give them opportunity to give you that information. I would like to let everyone know that the next episode of the Counter Narrative is the art of practicing self-love, and that is February 4th, Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Again, the next episode is Practicing the Art of Self-Love, February 4th, Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you there. And now I'm going to hand it over to Vicky J so she could let everybody know how to friend, follow, or tweet her.
Yes, indeed, you guys. What's up? It's Vicky J. That's how I address all my J bays. That's what I like to call my followers. And I'm Vicky J everywhere. It's spelled VIKEEJEAH. And you can find me on Twitter, on Facebook, on Snapchat, on YouTube, of course. And did I say Twitter? Because you can also find me on Twitter. And I'm Vicky J on all of those platforms. So you could literally just Google Vicky J and go ahead and just open another tab over and over again, click on each social media link, and then hit follow, subscribe, like, etc. And that's where you can find me. I
Bam.
post videos on YouTube every Tuesday and Saturday. And with today being Saturday, there is a new video up.
Tell them about the Woke Squad too. They may be interested in that. You mentioned that earlier.
You know, you're absolutely right. Yeah, the Woke Squad is my a social justice show that I host with my friend comedian Don John, who is with us today in the audience on YouTube, and Tanika Oliveira of Tea with Tanika, and we talk about you know all things social justice, all things current events, and all things gossip, just to keep things light in between all of the craziness that is going on in our world today. So if you want to check that out, we are the Woke Squad on YouTube. You can look us up. We are you'll see a Black Panther fist with a red background, and that is our emblem. You cannot miss it. You can also catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/Woke Squad. We're on Twitter as the Woke Squad Pod. And those are the three platforms that we frequent the most. We are also on Legacy Internet Radio, which we air every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern.
Bam. Stephanie.
My turn. So if you would like to follow me and see all my beauty hauls, which I post on Instagram, my Instagram name is SoSoSteph. That's SOSOSTEPH_. And then you can also follow me at SoSoSteph, no underscore, on Twitter. And that's about it. But yes, I post all my hauls on Instagram. You can see what I'm up to, shopping, spending money. And the things that are on my wish list as well, and we can kind of, commiserate or talk about the exciting new things coming up in beauty. So
Awesome. So thank you for everyone. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Special thank you to my guest, Vicky J. Thank you so much for coming on. I asked you, you responded. Not only did you respond and say yes, but you responded and showed me where it was in your calendar. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I roll with people who like to get shit done. Like, yeah, it's in the calendar, son, and what?
we call that the GSD at work, get shit done, people.
Yes, like, okay, when we gonna do it? All right. Stephanie, I so appreciate you. You have been my online babe from day one. Seriously. From the first time that you were the first one who kind of like made me feel like, okay, it's okay that I can get on camera and I can kind of do this thing. And even though we haven't been doing our show, I've been still going on. And anytime I have something that you can get on, it's always open to you. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, thank you for coming out again, and good night.
Good night, everybody.